What's going on, everyone? I'm Big Sip. Today, wanted to take a look at this Tier 6 destroyer, Błyskawica. Just going to call it the Bliss for short. Wargaming recently announced they're bringing back some of the ships from the Black Friday fleet. This is including the Warspite, Scharnhorst, and the star of this episode, the Bliss. Since it's going to be coming back, I wanted to do a quick overview on the ship, its strengths, its weaknesses, the builds I use, and most importantly, the commander, which is really the star of this ship. And we wanted to take a look at all this to see if the doubloons are really worth it. Now, in the background, we have a game of Capture the Base on Neighbors. You can see we respawned in the center cap. We're just going to kind of operate here in the middle of the map, making these big loops. And while we're going through that, let's take a look at the commander, Jerzy Swirski. He is one of the most sought after commanders because his base trait of hide and seek. Now, when you have him fully leveled up, this will allow you to reduce the concealment or detectability of any of your ships by 5%. Now, that does take a rank 16 legendary 4, but it is a huge advantage, especially if you have some of these double detection builds. You can get, say, the Kamikaze down to 4.2, 4.3 detection. Pretty incredible. So, base trait, hide and seek, reduce the detectability of any ship. Slot 1, I go with observant range. Slot 2, look at me now. Slot 3, perceptive. Slot 4, smoke on the water. And then a legendary skill of unstoppable. For this build, I am using inspirations of Bay and Mordoff. With Mordoff, you could easily convince me there's a better solution for that second inspiration, but for now, he's the one I've been running just to get that reload time a little bit faster. As for the actual ship mods that I run, Tier 6 ships only have 3 slots, so slot 1 going for aiming system mod 1, slot 2 prop mod 2, and then the third slot concealment system mod 1. Again, I'm looking to get this ship to be as invisible as possible. Now, with all that in mind, let's take a look at the ship's stats. This thing has a main battery of 3 double turrets and 1 single turret, total of 7 guns, 120 millimeters. Have a range of 10.7 kilometers, reload time of 5.6 seconds. HE has a max damage of 1700 with an 8% fire chance, and the AP has a max damage of 2200. Now, that 8% fire chance is pretty solid for a destroyer. I'm pretty sure it's one of the best, with only the Soviet destroyers being able to beat it. On the torpedoes, you get 2 sets, 3 torpedoes each, 533 millimeters. They have an 8-kilometer range, 70-second reload time, max damage of 14,400, and a speed of 57 knots. They're not the most powerful, they're not the fastest, but they are serviceable. I do run this ship mostly as a gunboat, but the torpedoes aren't completely useless. They're faster in the water than the American torpedoes. They hit a little harder and they reload a lot faster. So if you want to get some comparison of where they are against some of the tech tree ships. Other ship stats has 15,500 hit points, max speed of 37 knots, rudder shift of 6.4 seconds, and with my build, 5.1 kilometer detectability. So what are the perks of this ship? First, it's a gunboat that can absolutely tear through other destroyers. Right here you see us going against the Akatsuki. We're reloading about half the time it takes for the Akatsuki to reload. See it right there, 2,000 point hit, and we're able to take them out in a hurry. That is the first thing this thing's good at, is just gunning other ships down. Second thing, with it being a tier 6 premium ship, it's going to make lots of silver. You're going to be able to help grow your stores with this ship. It really helps, especially if you're grinding other lines. You just need to make a lot of silver fast. Throw a epic booster on this thing, take it out a couple times. You can bring in anywhere from 700,000 to $1 million with good games, and it is absolutely great for doing that. And then finally, the biggest perk to this ship is getting Swirski. Swirski's not available in the store, he's not available in the commander crates. The only way is to get them through this ship, and it's absolutely a fun commander to have. It really allows you to change things up and see what kind of unique builds you can have. So let's take a look at the gameplay here. You saw we took out the Flint earlier. That was thanks to a fire. We gunned down the Akatsuki, and right now we're trying to decide what we want to do next. Do we want to try to torpedo the Colorado? Do we want to open up the guns on the Mayhan? And so we're trying to make sure we don't push too far up. We don't want to get out of range of getting some help from our teammates. So we're turning here to get the torpedoes on the Colorado. Now you see the torp angles, they aren't terrible. They're pretty good, kind of middle of the road. And I really like this thing because, again, it's a good gunboat that gives you torpedoes that launch in a fairly quick time. Now seeing right here, we saw the Colorado's guns were pointing the other way, so we went ahead and opened up with the guns. And what we're trying to do is just get fires going. You see, we are shattering quite a few shells, but those are probably hitting the hole. What we're wanting to aim for is the superstructure, just like that, and get those fires started. Fortunately, 2 fires right there, and this is absolutely what this ship excels at, gunning down other ships. You did see that I did have the concealment mod, so that really drops the dispersion on incoming fire, so it makes it a lot harder to hit this ship. So if you wanted to try a dispersion build, you could switch out Mordov for VN and increase that incoming fire dispersion. And overall, I think it just has a really good survivability. 15,500 is really good hit points for a destroyer at this tier. I think only the Germans might have a little bit more. So that has a lot going for it. One thing I do like about it is, as we drive in a short line here, you can kind of see the gun angles are pretty favorable. If you turn just a little bit more right with the guns here, you can get the 3rd turret, and a little bit further you can get the 4th. You don't have to be fully broadside to get all 4 turrets on target, which is absolutely phenomenal. I do use this ship as a destroyer hunter. So right there, we did see the twist and track indicator pointing towards the Mayhan. Right here, it flips over, so immediately I'm turning to head that direction. I want to go hunt that destroyer and take them out. They are right now probably the biggest threat to us. The Vesser could potentially be an issue, but so far throughout this game, you've seen the carrier has completely ignored me, which has been great. Allowed us to really operate here in the middle with very little hindrance. But right here we see the Akatsuki pop up, so we're going to go ahead and open up with the guns. And a little unlucky, these first couple salvos didn't aim far enough ahead, and right here you see the Akatsuki picking up on what we're doing, turning in. They're doing a really good job at mitigating incoming fire. In fact, I was wondering right here if they were running a dispersion build, because these shells are simply not landing. The single turret on this is in the front, so if you're shooting purely with bow on, that means you're only going to be firing 3 of your guns. But again, if you fire a full salvo with all 4 turrets, like we do right there, it's 7 shells, and right, they're just devastating. Nearly 2,500 in damage. And it just makes for such a fun ship to go out with. Right there, so we haven't had to use the torpedoes much this game. We see we're turning in. We have the Vesser as the last ship. I am going to try to use some AP right here, thinking I might be able to get some penetrations on the hull. The angle is not quite right. You know, we're going to get 1 penetration out of 7. It's not phenomenal, but ultimately, if you do get in close quarters battle with this ship against a cruiser, you can citadel them and take their health in a hurry. Again, only 2,200 on the AP max damage, but with 7 guns, that can add up quick and can certainly help you if you get in a pinch. As you see here, we're able to gun down the Vesser, go ahead, finish off the Kraken, and truly, this is a fun ship. I think it's worth the money, especially if you want Swirski. But curious to hear what you all think. Take a look at the screen here. 128 hits, 6 fires, 770,000 silver. So this is what that ship is made to do. Solid XP game. Great game from the blue team. And that's all we have. If this is your first time coming to the channel, consider hitting subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them below in the comments. Happy to answer any of them. Have a good one.